Today's recipe is a hearty, fibre-packed one-pot dish that will warm you through on a cold evening. Weeknight dinners can be easy and nutritious, you don't need to compromise anywhere, and this dish really proves that. And it only costs £1 per portion, and you probably already have most of the ingredients in your store cupboard, so give it a go and let me know what you think. Start with a good glug of olive oil or veggie stock if you want to go oil-free. This recipe works well if you don't want to use oil. Adding in the whole spices early on releases their essential oils, creating a more intense flavor and fragrance that infuses the whole dish. Then add in a cinnamon stick and 1 bay leaf. Personally, I love to use olive oil as it adds a lovely peppery, fruity note to the dish. Before we start cooking, one step that I like to do is to soak the green lentils for 1 or 2 hours, and this just helps them cook a bit quicker, and I find they're much more digestible if I have soaked them before cooking them. As always, I've got this silicone mat down, which is going to stop the chopping board from sliding when I'm chopping. I've also got a Tupperware for any scraps, veggie scraps, just so I don't have to keep going back and forward from the food bin. We'll just give this onion a quick rough chop. Don't need to be super precise. It's a fairly rustic stew we're making. As always, when chopping, keeping my fingertips tucked away so there's no chance I'm going to nip one of them. I love to use these little mise en place bowls just to keep everything nice and clean and organized. And then once the oil is shimmering and hot, you can add in your onion. For the leek, I'm just going to slice down the middle and then finely slice it. This leek was actually grown by my brother on his community farm, so it's going to be organic and it's going to taste incredible. It's just got the most amazing, vibrant green color compared to the leeks that you get from the supermarket. So I'm very lucky to be able to use this sort of produce. Leeks can get pretty dirty, so I'm going to give it a quick wash. I'm just going to dump it into cold water and then just give it a good mix around to release the dirt from the leek, and that's just going to sink to the bottom, and then we can scoop out our clean leek. And I can see all the dirt now has just dropped to the bottom, but we're not going to get any of that because we're just going to scoop it off the top, and this works much better than just rinsing it under the tap, I find. And the sliced leek. This recipe is loosely based off adasi, which is a Persian lentil soup. We're going to adapt it slightly into a more substantial stew by adding in some seasonal vegetables such as this leek and some butternut squash. Go in with a nice pinch of sea salt to help break down the leeks and the onion and draw out all their moisture. We're going to cook this slowly for around 8, maybe 10 minutes until it's really nice and soft and maybe even starting to caramelize. These leeks are beautifully green and vibrant, and you can really start to smell the fragrance coming from the cinnamon and that bay leaf. Just a really small pinch of granulated sugar is going to help the leek and the onion caramelize nicely. So the leek and the onion are starting to get just a little bit of caramelization on them, so we can move on to the next step. The best way by far to remove the skin from ginger is with a teaspoon. Compared to a peeler or a knife, it is just so much more efficient, and it only removes just the skin and none of the flesh. I just love the smell of the ginger as you peel it. It's fiery, it's fruity, it just smells incredible. So that literally took 10-20 seconds to peel that. And you don't actually need to peel it necessarily. It's a bit like with kiwi, it's a bit of a preference thing, whether or not you eat the skin or not. And you can either zest to this ginger, or you can just give it a quick fine chop. Once again, keeping our fingers nice and tucked away, our fingertips. I'm going pretty heavy on the ginger in this dish, so it's a strong, prominent flavor in this stew.
I can take you in a pee-pee.
Oh no. So in goes our ginger. Garlic will just crush and finely chop. Just like with the ginger, if you wanted to, you could just zest it in. That removes the peel really easily. Top tip for finely chopping garlic is to add a pinch of sea salt, and this is going to help break down the fibers and give you a much finer result. And then you can take it a step further and use the back of your knife to smush the garlic into your chopping board and turn it into a really nice garlic paste. The minced garlic, and then just let them cook for a couple of minutes. They're going to add a lovely spicy, punchy and sweet flavor to this dish. The smells coming from this are just incredible already. Next, a teaspoon of turmeric for its sort of woody and warming flavor. Ground coriander for its citrusy, floral notes. I like to add a little drizzle of oil when I add in these spices. The oil is really going to help the spices release their aromas into the dish and transfer to all the other ingredients. Then just 1 tablespoon of tomato puree. I like to use tomato puree rather than a whole can of chopped tomatoes when I just want a sort of subtle tomatoey flavor to the dish, but doesn't overpower the other ingredients. We'll let all the ingredients come together, release their natural sweetness, and then we'll move on to the next step. Next, we've got the butternut squash. Traditionally, just regular potatoes are used, but I think you could use any like winter root vegetable, whether that's celeriac, swede, sweet potato. I think that would all work really well. To peel the butternut squash, get a really good grip on it, and if you've got a high quality metal peeler, then it's gonna be absolutely fine just peeling this, no effort at all really. But if you don't have a good quality peeler, then I've got a little tip for you that's gonna make it a little bit easier. This tip was actually mentioned in the comment section of a previous video, and all you're gonna do is stab some holes into your squash using a fork or a knife, doesn't really matter. And we're just gonna pop that in the microwave for 3 to 5 minutes. So that's had 5 minutes, it's very hot now, so I'm gonna leave it a few minutes to cool down, and then the peel is going to be much easier to remove. And then it just comes off really easily, no effort at all. I'm doing this while it's still a little bit hot, because I'm a little bit low on time today, but that's all good. It's actually quite chilly today, so it's warming me through, which is nice. I'm just using half this squash, and we're going to do a sort of maybe a 2 centimeter dice roughly. It doesn't have to be too precise, as long as the pieces are roughly the same size, then that's all good. In goes our butternut squash. I've actually got a mix of green and purée lentils here because someone mixed them up. But that's not a problem, it's just going to take a little bit longer to cook. Then the lentils, which I've given a rinse just to remove any dirt or dust. And I've also checked through to make sure there's not any small rocks in there. I'm starting to wonder whether this pan is going to be big enough, fingers crossed. And then just add in your vegetable stock, or you could just use water. There's going to be a lot of flavor from all the ingredients we've got in here. Pop a lid on and we'll just bring that to a simmer. So that is simmering away nicely now, and we'll let it cook for around 25 to 30 minutes until the squash is soft, and also the lentils, of course. For an optional but very tasty topping, we're going to make some crispy onions. So in here, I've just got some thinly sliced red onion. You can use any onion that you like. This is just what I had on hand. And we're going to coat it in some corn flour, which is going to help it crisp up really nicely. Then into a frying pan over a high heat, we're going to heat up a oil with a really high smoke point. So I'm going to be using some cold pressed rapeseed oil. And we'll let that get fairly hot before we add the onions. You could do this in the air fryer and you wouldn't need to use as much oil if you wanted to. Okay, so the oil's nice and hot and we're going to add in our onions. And if they're not sizzling like this, then don't add them all in. Get them all really nice and coated in that oil. Don't worry if they break up, that's absolutely fine. And then we'll just spread them out to start getting crispy. The key here is to not turn them too often so that they actually have time to get lovely and golden like they are here. Just turn them every minute or two. And these are looking really nice already. Really, we're just sort of frying out the moisture from these onions. And then the corn flour is also getting really crispy. I don't like to add the salt straight away at the beginning because otherwise it will just draw out all the moisture too quickly and they'll just sort of steam. But once they're about halfway cooked, then you can add in a pinch of salt. So I'm just gonna go for a little pinch of sea salt here, and that's gonna help get them even crispier. Now towards the end of the cooking, you want to be a little bit more careful and turn them slightly more often to ensure they don't burn. So I'm happy with them. I'm just going to remove them onto kitchen paper to absorb any of that excess oil. Spread them out so that all the excess oil is absorbed by the paper, and that's going to be a really tasty topping on this stew. I mean, it's such a nutritious dish, you've got to add something a little bit naughty. You can hear the crispiness. This has had 20 minutes with the lid on and then 5 minutes with the lid off, just to evaporate some of the liquid. And now we have a lovely hearty stew. The lentils are beautifully soft and the butternut squash. I'm surprised the purée lentils only took 25 minutes to cook. I guess because we pre-soaked them for about an hour and a half, that really did help. And then just to finish this off, we're going to add about a tablespoon of lemon juice. I always add a little bit of acidity to pretty much any dish. It just really enhances all the other flavors. Now this definitely isn't traditional, but I'm going to add about a teaspoon of tamari or a gluten-free soy sauce, just to add a really nice umami, rich flavor and season it really nicely. And then finish it off with those beautiful crispy onions. You could add some fresh herbs like some parsley or mint, or a little dollop of yogurt, which could be nice. Sadly, the wooden spoon is now yellow, but it's worth it for the health benefits of the turmeric. Okay. So hearty and delicious. Honestly, such simple ingredients, but cooked with time and love, and they can just taste amazing. And I don't mean the herb when I say time. Those crispy onions really do take it up a notch. So good. Please do give this recipe a go and then come back to this video and let me know what you thought. I can't stop eating it. It's just so good. And that's all from me and Poppy. Goodbye. Thank you so much for watching. You probably want some greens to go along with this dish, so check out this video.